Brought to you by Sayge Media.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
We've got a great show lined up for you.
Tequila's a whole different kind of drunk.
That's a dumb stripper.
They're always stupid.
Good point.
Who are those guys?
You just reach your arm in there and give it a couple of tugs. And
How do you give someone an IOU for a shit in the mouth?
They just keep telling the story.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
boop bop diddly bop pop pop boom.
How'd all you people get in my house?
It's half Jaeger and it's half rhinoceros piss after he's ate asparagus.
Who's in here eating chips, taking a shit?
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Is that my cue?
Yeah.
You gonna wave a phone at me? If you wave a phone, it's start. If you wave it, I gotta wrap it up. I always start every episode with people going, were they in the middle of something? Yes, we were. All right, welcome to another exciting episode of the Guys Like Us show. If you like things like what do we like? Sports? We like sports, beer, movies, all that good stuff. Guy stuff, it's very typical. We're about as deep as a puddle on that one. But if you like that kind of stuff, you should like that.
It's a pretty good tagline.
Yeah.
Beer, movies, and boobies. It's got a nice, nice little roll. Yeah.
It's got the one boobie and the other boobie.
I'll tell you what.
But yes, sir.
This is feeling a little.
By the way, that's our producer Nick. That's not Nick speaking there.
Yep, tell you what, this feels like Guys Like Us show 1.0 back when I used to record this and Rant the Raven back to back and was drinking through the whole time.
Yeah.
We jumped down here a little bit early. So
tail ends of those Rant the Ravens were spectacular, weren't they?
Yeah, well, so I homebrewed that beer, so I popped open one of those beers and ran it through the tap thing that I got back here, and then I was like, I'll go ahead and have a whiskey with it too, and then I've refilled this a couple times now, so I'm on like 3 whiskeys and a beer, so starting to feel a little bit like the good old days of recording when I was just drinking all day long.
I've had a few beers, so you'll have to show me how to do that. I sent you guys the pictures a while back, but I built that pallet bar. It's kind of been like something in my mind. Like I've wanted to do that for a
hold
long
on. You
time
only introduced one of us here.
He's watching the game.
I'm good. It's a commercial break.
Okay. In between innings, huh?
No, hey,
anyway,
that pallet bar. The pallet bar is awesome.
Dude, that thing kicks ass. It really does.
Thank you. Awesome. But it would be cool if you can, when you get here, kind of show me how to actually brew from it and everything.
Hell yeah.
I have a little sink. I haven't installed it yet. Mostly because those fucking pumps are insanely expensive.
Well, I'll tell you this.
$700.
It takes like a month, and you gotta wait a month to know if you fucked it up or not. So
good.
There's that.
I should go.
You guys do know they sell beer at the store, right?
Yes. I did put that fridge in there.
You don't have to backup. You can literally just go down there and pick some up and just take. You can take it right home and just drink it right.
God damn! I've been stomping grapes every morning for fucking 6 weeks now.
You can just drink that shit right off the shelf.
I had my own.
Well, I had some holdover beer.
Yeah.
I had some to hold me over till mine was done.
So. Anyway, I can't. It'll be great when you guys come up here and we can all sit down and have a beer. But it'd be cool to learn how to like brew my own there and still have the beer in the fridge, of course. I got the frosted mugs in the freezer, all that good stuff. But I have a little sink. I don't know if I'm going to end up installing that or not. I don't know if I need a sink.
You should, man. It's helpful. I'll just tell you, just from having this one back here, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I got in trouble for that immediately.
The sink?
So, yes, because Amanda came outside and I was putting the thing together and I looked at the sink and I go, you see that? It's because, I go, one more place for you to do dishes.
I thought you were going to get in trouble for having one more bathroom.
And there's the answer to the tease of how I broke my finger for the last episode. Because she just grabbed it and pop. No, I was trying to catch a pallet actually that was sliding. I literally made that thing like by myself from my head. I saw a picture on Pinterest. That's it.
Dude, it really does look great.
I just kept you talk about like frustration and trial and error, and God damn it, I rebuilt that roof 5 times before I got it right.
Damn.
Really?
It was just, but it's a lot of fun too. And then what was weird is I was like, hey, maybe I should make this giant structure for the swing too in the middle of it. Like maybe I should have 2 big fucking projects going at the same time. Oh, and I'm going to do the landscaping too, where I mulch off the, a quarter of the fucking yard. And I was building a pallet fence behind it at the same time too, for privacy. So my property butts up against an old Domino's, right? I quit buying from them, so they went out of business. And so we were talking about smoking cigars on the next episode. Well, that's what's going in there. It's a smoke shop.
Last episode.
Or next one, not last one. I don't know how you're going to do it, Tarantino. But so my property butts up to there, and then there's a Sheetz across the street and down the street away. Now, if you don't know what a Sheetz is,
it rules.
It's pretty cool, but it's like it's basically like a quick tripper racetrack.
Okay,
it's their version of that. Where
it's got more options though. You can get like a cheesesteak that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean,
it's a high end gas station.
It will give you the fucking shits though, like insanely. Like
it's a cheesesteak.
It's a cheesesteak in name. Like you're like, hey, I got a cheesesteak, but once you eat that motherfucker, like don't go far from wherever you like.
It's a Buc-ee's or anything. Not the highest level like a Buc-ee's.
I've heard of Buc-ee's, but I haven't been to one yet.
Yeah, it is.
I want to go to one.
It's not like a Walmart the way Buc-ee's is though. Like Buc-ee's is massive.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what. Buc-ee's
is awesome.
It's still small, like a racetrack.
It is like a racetrack or QT. It's just got more like options.
So I wanted the pallet fence up though because my bedroom is at the back of the house, and occasionally like you'll see headlights in the parking lot come through the window and that kind of stuff. And I got, I don't know, halfway through building that, like I had put posts down in the ground with the concrete and all that shit. And then this guy shows up and he's like, "Hey," I said, what's up?" And he was like, "Let me ask you about the fence you're building here." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, what's your plans with this?" And I was like, "Run it down to that end, blah, blah, blah." So he goes, "Well, this place here is going to be a smoke shop, and they had a hearing with the city, and since it's like dole-oriented products, they got to put a privacy fence up right along here." And I was like, "Let me take these fucking posts out."
Yeah, really?
Like, hell yeah, I'll take a professionally made fence. And
so they got to build one anyways.
Yeah. And they've already put it up actually now, and it's pretty nice. And so I just hung my lights along it and everything. Got a professionally made fence up, so it's pretty cool though. I like it.
You saw the fence here, right?
What?
You saw the fence here at my place, right?
You will not let me at your house. I know there's something. I don't know what it is. You've heard something.
Well, I mean,
or
he'll tell you the fence looks fucking good, but we built it ourselves, and let me tell you, man, that shit sucks a fat.
Yeah, it does. It is not fun.
It sucks.
It's not fun. I like my past couple of trips down there. I'm like, "Hey, I can swing by your house on the way out of town and pick up that Georgia newspaper." You're like, no. I'll get it in the mail. Don't worry about it. Are you sure? No.
Oh, no, if only you let me know ahead of time. I would have been home.
In all fairness, like I think you like me and don't mind. I'm pretty sure this is something that Tina's put you up to.
No.
Where I'm not allowed to enter near your property.
Look, you're allowed at the house. You're like, "Hey, I can swing by right now." It's like, all right, well, now specifically isn't a great time. You gave me zero warning.
No. I don't. You haven't provided the address.
This is not the 70s and 80s where you can just show up at people's houses and knock.
Like as a general rule, if someone just shows up at my house, there's a fair chance I shoot them.
Right. Yeah. This is not the 70s. I mean, like where it's like, "Oh, look who just showed up."
Yeah.
Well, let me get out I've got a cake here. I've got a coffee table cake here.
I've got a bunk cake.
Oh, no. Yeah. It's a bundt cake here. With the Tupperware container. You know what I mean? The big round green ones.
Yeah. The fuck are you doing in my house?
Well, the reason why I stopped by is I brought this slideshow of this trip we took out to the Midwest.
Oh, Jesus.
Figured we'd go through this. How long is this going to take? I can only fake interest.
Well, there's only like 1,300 pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. It always jams up after like picture 5. Yeah, wait for like the.
I'm gonna explain each picture. I'm gonna explain each picture.
Hey,
Yeah.
that reminds me. This is funny.
Yeah.
So,
And they leave in the ones that's like just a close up of an elbow, and you take 20 minutes to figure out what the fuck it is.
just a hand right over the lens.
Who's
But
that?
just right intention, wrong execution. Like now, just showing up at someone's house. Just like,
Yeah.
It's like you're expecting to like, oh, it's so great to have you here, and in reality, I'm like, why the fuck are you at my house right now?
Yeah.
Like, don't just show up
See,
here.
the thing is,
And wait,
I
hold
couldn't
on.
even do that since you have not provided an address either.
Now you know. But that last beach trip that I took with all the guys like us money that we got. We were in the ocean, and my sister-in-law's fiance. I don't know exactly what. I don't know if that make him my brother-in-law or not. I don't know how that all works, but
I think that makes him your cousin.
we whatever it is. We were there was a kid that got pulled out by a riptide, and like this kid's fucking just going out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was fucking panic time. You know what I mean? Like, his kid's getting pulled out to sea, and he went out there and he got him. And he saved the kid's life. He was getting pulled underwater and everything like that. He saved the kid's life, and he was swimming him back. But the dad was running out to like get his kid back, but we didn't see if he saw the lead up of what happened. So for all we knew, when we saw the dad running up, he just saw a grown man with his kid bringing him back, and it was like all we saw was Sean save this kid's life, and then I was like, and here comes the dad, like, get your fucking hands off my daughter! That's all I could think. His dad's gonna be like, beat the shit out.
You're welcome.
So we have what we call the show before the show, where we've been drinking that kind of stuff, and we start talking about. We were talking about.
I've been drinking through the show. I hate to break it to you, but
at the last,
otherwise known as like a regular Tuesday.
Yeah, regular night. But so we were talking. We were talking about either the next episode you'll hear a story about ice cream or last episode. So in the last episode, I told a couple of tales from the truck, and you were talking about using "Ice Cream Man" by Van Halen. Real original thought, by the way.
That's one of my favorite all-time solos.
Right, it's awesome.
I actually played that for Dad on the way.
Yeah, I've played it from the ice cream truck before.
Oh well, there you go.
Off of a party speaker.
I mean, you should. That should be what you go into every place.
What was cool too is we had a party at the old house, and I actually brought it was for the kids. It was in the school party, and I brought the I bet you did. I did definitely play that. But I brought the ice cream truck to it, and all Isaac's buddies were there and everything, and all his friends. And I told him, I said, if you want to serve everybody ice cream from the truck to your friends, you can. And he's like, oh, awesome. And he goes, can I do it? I said, do what? And he goes, can I do it? Yeah. Next thing you hear he plays Ice Cream Man by Van Halen in the back and stuff. And he was like watching him walk up into the truck with that music playing and shit was pretty funny.
Let me guess. That was the first time any of those kids had ever heard that song.
Probably. Except for him. Of
that's
course.
Also also a pretty nice hustle on your end. Hey, how would you like to do my job without getting paid?
Well, I wasn't being paid anything to do it. I just brought it as an extra for their party at the time. So I was like, I'm not working this shit. I'll bring it there, but I am working it.
I'll tell you what,
I'm not selling ice cream. They can have free ice cream, whatever.
That is a pretty awesome move to just show up with that, because there's a Kona ice truck that comes through our neighborhood all the time. Yeah. And it's like, it just fucking shows up, and it's always like, oh fuck yeah, the Kona ice truck is here. Yeah. And for one of Lindsay's birthdays, they got the Kona ice truck to just show up, and it's a pretty fucking sweet move. People do.
Yeah, I do. You know what's cool? The birthday parties I do is like we play the ice cream truck music is an ice cream truck version of Rock Candy Mountain, which is an old hippie song. Like they used it in like Oh Brother Where Art Thou and stuff. If you ever played it and stuff, it's just this old tune. So. But we have that, and that's what I go around the neighborhoods with. But when I leave, I tell
cramping up.
All right. So when I go, I'll like do a birthday party for kids and stuff. We actually have a birthday version of the ice cream song where it like plays Happy Birthday, but it sounds like an ice cream truck tune. So I usually play that when I'm leaving, and that usually gets a pretty good pop from everybody. It's a lot of fun to do.
Do you have the?
I mean, it's a fun job.
Do you have
What's
the black
cool is I
version
only
of it
worked
too?
6 months. The what?
The black version of it.
No.
The
That
happy
sounds
birthday to you. Where there's one that's only
Stevie
ever played
Wonder?
at black birthdays.
Talking about Stevie Wonder? No, it's just the happy birthday song, but it's done in that jingle like an ice cream.
Yeah, you
truck
can say it.
place. Yeah. No, when I pull up, because it's an old. When I pull up, has it been 15 minutes yet? Yes, it has. Fuck goddamn shit. But
15:30.
yeah. So
Yeah, we already broke that, by the way.
Yeah, I think we did immediately out of the gate.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I did.
by the way, for the editing.
I completely forgot. But I don't even remember what I was saying about it now.
I'm even gonna have to like fucking have three versions of each episode.
When I play it on
YouTube.
this, because it's the truck is a 1961 International Harvester, so I usually play that Beatles Happy Birthday song when I come pulling up.
That's a good one.
I figure it fits in with the aesthetics, and then I have a playlist on Spotify that I'll play at events. That's all like movie. It's like it's basically the soundtrack to Animal House, Stand By Me, stuff like that with like the old 50s and 60s party songs.
So
Like,
hold
I'll
on,
play
here's
like
a here's
it's
a real
funny
question.
because I still have all the DJ tendencies in me, you know?
Yeah.
I know what music fits here.
Well, hold on, but here's a real question about that though. Is that like a because I'm sure the kids don't get that at all. Is that like a hit with the parents though?
It is. Like I do a
Yeah.
lot of like company parties. Like I'll pull up and like those like companies will hire the truck for like employee appreciation or customer
Yeah,
appreciation
yeah.
or whatever.
Well, and
Yeah,
that makes
most-
sense, but I didn't know if,
The
like
kid- Once the kids unwrap fucking SpongeBob, they don't give a shit. What's
right, but I
fucking
didn't
playing.
know if like when the ice cream truck was coming around, like if you
Yeah.
if someone heard you playing that, if the kid doesn't give a shit what that song is,
Yeah.
but if the parents were like,
Yeah.
awesome, I
Yeah,
like that. This
yeah,
guy's cool.
yeah.
You know, like I didn't know
Yeah,
if there
it's
was any of
definitely
that.
for the. It's so that I can enjoy a little grown-up interaction.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids are fun and everything like that, but it's crazy. There's definitely a lot more stories from it. I mean, this is literally my 4th season now. I can't believe it's gone by that fast, but it's a lot of fun to do. But anyway, I want to get back to the show before the show. We were talking about, like you were talking about playing Ice Cream Man, and then Nick was like, well, we can't, violate the whatever, we can't play it and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I learned recently, so guys like us, like old school wrestling, right?
Yeah.
You guys ever remember hearing about a company up here in Philly called ECW?
Yeah.
Extreme Championship Wrestling, right?
They were pretty big, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like the third branch when like WWE and WCW were having their Monday Night Wars. There was another company, ECW, that was like stealing their wrestlers to stock up their own wrestlers. They were a big company, but they didn't have all the money and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They had a guy named Paul Heyman who's still big in the business now. He owned ECW, and his wrestling show would be on TNN, which is now Spike network. But back then it was like the national network, and it
Does
was
Spike
national
even exist
network
anymore?
before. I don't know if Spike does or not. I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so.
I haven't had cable in a while.
I think they
But
I think they went out of business around like 2005.
probably. But their ECW wrestled on that, and on that show you would hear licensed music. Like they had a wrestler called the Sandman, and he'd come out to Metallica, and you'd hear Metallica, and then you would hear War Pigs, and you'd hear all sorts of shit, right?
Right.
And it was and everybody was like, how the fuck is he, like, how could he afford this shit? Like he can't afford, how could he afford this licensing this music to be on this cable network when he can barely afford to keep wrestlers? Like, wouldn't he put his money into that?
I'm
I
guessing.
found out the loophole how he did it.
Okay.
It turns out if he pumped that music directly in, he'd have to pay for the licensing. But if it happened to get picked up onto a PA system and then played, so he always held the mic to a PA system and it played the fucking music and you could hear it good. But
Nice.
because it technically went through a PA system and not directly used, he didn't have to pay a dime for it, and he got away
Wow.
with it for like 5 fucking years
That's
and never.
awesome.
I was
Well,
like, holy fucking shit.
The problem with YouTube is that it's a computer that's making that decision.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
In
doesn't
fact,
know the loophole.
I'll tell you right
There's
now.
nobody to talk to.
We actually get it's fine because it is we're allowed to, like, you guys allow it to be used, but we use a Margin Society song for our intro, and it
You got
flags,
your check, right?
Well, it flags every single time that this is copyrighted material, and then it goes through and does another check and says the user allows for this to be used. So I don't know if you know that or not, that people can use your music without your consent, but
yeah, it's part of the it's part of the thing to sign up to get your music out there.
Right. So, but because of that, we're able to use it, but it does flag us every time and say that this is copyrighted material, and then it does another check that, are we allowed to use this copyrighted material, even though it's copyrighted? And we are, obviously, but it does have to do like a whole second set of shit every time, but it does flag us that it says this is copyrighted.
Just don't try to put the band logo on shoes. That's where you really run into some fucking.
Yeah,
Tried to get those Vans made with the
shit.
logo
I
on
thought that
it.
would look so fucking cool.
I
Like
thought
when
it
you
would
showed me
too,
the
man.
mock-up of it.
Yeah, I did. They're like, no. I'm like, I am literally in the band. That is my trademark.
I own it.
I own this trademark. And
No,
sorry.
Sorry.
Take the chance.
And then,
Like,
but you can.
Here's my identification. You can look online. You can see I am a fucking licensed owner of this trademark. Nope, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm supposed to believe
somebody
you're
has
the
a pair of,
specific
like,
Nick is talking about. Okay.
Right.
This is just an example, but
I
somebody
work
probably
today.
has a pair of like Miller
Yeah.
Lite bands and
Fuck. Now I should probably cut out your last name or our last name.
Yeah. So at work today, I got again, I don't want to talk about where I work, but I got on the phone. The name came up with the person who I was speaking to on the phone, and it was my exact name. I'm like, I was like, wait a minute. I thought something fucked up with the computer, because I'm like,
wait, like middle name and everything?
Well, no, it was just first and last name.
Okay.
But the guy even lived in Georgia too. And I was like, wait, what? I'm like, your name? That's your name? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's my name too.
It's funny.
Can't believe there's two of y'all.
There's a Facebook group.
Or hold on. I guess three of y'all.
There's a Facebook group for one of the shows that I listen to, and there's another guy in there that has my exact name. And every time one of us posts something first, the other one is like, "This man is an imposter."
Well, I took a screenshot of it and posted in the Teams chat, and then I was like, I did the Spider-Man GIF where
they're all pointing at each other,
pointing at the other Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. That is a good one.
I did like that they did that in the new Spider-Man movie.
We talked about. Thanks for spoiling that. I haven't seen that yet. Thank you.
Well, it's been out for like fucking 6 months.
No, it just came out.
No.
Spider-Verse thing?
Not the cartoon one. The
yeah. Okay.
No, the live action one.
Now keep in mind, I haven't seen the first cartoon. The multiverse Spider-Man one.
Yeah, I got to watch the new one too.
I haven't watched the first one yet.
The first one was awesome.
But speaking of names, we talked about the pallet bar earlier.
Yeah.
And then you guys made a sign for that for the birthday.
Yeah.
Right? Which I greatly appreciate. It looks really cool lit up. I like the colors and all that kind of stuff. There's just one small thing. And I don't want to.
Did I misspell it?
You sort of misspelled my name on there. I don't know if you see in the small right-hand corner, but there's an H in rhino.
Yeah, so that was...
Because it's spelled like a rhinoceros.
Well, I thought that was... I couldn't call you and ask you, but I thought that's how you spelled it.
No, it's been here every episode for 3 years in front of you.
Yeah, but I don't watch this show. Well, wait a minute. There's an H in it right now. I'm looking right at it. Did you do that because of that?
Yeah, you forgot the H in the sign is what I'm saying.
Oh, no, wait.
No, it
just says R-Y-N-O. It's just R-Y-N-O on the sign.
I feel like it should have had an H.
I think I thought I put the H in there, quite honestly. Because that's how I
they
thought
forgot
I
it then.
Oh. Well, yeah, then it was them.
Ultimately-
It's
For sure.
very common that Rhino is RHYNO for
Well,
Rhino, and
that
since
would've
my
been
name
my-
is Ryan, though it got switched to
Yeah.
a Y. But
That would've
I still always left the H.
No. Hey, it was on them. Don't look it up. Don't look it up in case we fucked it up. They fucked it up.
Well, I had to approve it, so it would have definitely been me.
Which is fine.
Yeah, that was
Well,
definitely
I
them.
think-
Don't look into it.
Yeah. Just looks like, wino at a bar.
Hey, did I show you? My
like an
my-
Asian trying to call me a wino.
Well, that's gonna get us flagged. Did I show you my my neon sign?
No,
Do you know? Do you guys drink Guinness ever? Do you either of you like Guinness?
I have. It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have before.
Not.
I don't have any beer. I noticed tonight I don't have any brand loyalty, actually.
I like Guinness though. I like Guinness.
Sure, it's fine. It's a little more expensive.
Well, I mean,
It's like that category
it's a
with like
darker,
Newcastle
heavier
and all
beer.
that. Yeah,
I
it's like
like
Newcastle.
it. But you know,
I like
Guinness,
IPAs.
I don't like IPAs.
I
But
do.
most of
I
them. There's a couple that I like, but most
Sierra
of them
Nevada is my favorite.
I like the Sweetwater Mango Kush. I like that. The Sweetwater 420s. It definitely
Yeah.
smells like weed when you pop it up. But Guinness has their like mascots. Like they had the little turtle with a beer on its back. And I
Yeah,
had a toucan. I got a pretty awesome neon sign of the toucan with a beer on his beak. Little
That's
guy.
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah, I
Why
gotta
don't you
hang him up.
Plug
in
it
there.
us and show us.
You
instead
should
of
put
just
that
describing.
put that thing I got you from Tombstone in your bar there.
Yeah, I'm going to. It's
That'd
going to
be
come
cool.
right back here with my my barrels and my tap.
It'll go right near to that mirror that I brought him. That we
No, the
don't
mirror's
ever
set up.
see either.
No, the mirror's set up. Look, wait, hold on.
I know. You showed us before. You don't got to
Oh, okay,
again.
I
I'm
was
just
gonna say I'll
messing
show
with
you. It's right here. It's awesome.
You have like this bare wall behind you with like one or two things.
No, I got my
And
surfboard.
all the good shit's where we can't see it.
Yeah. Well, it's because there's a thing I want to put back here, but I don't have it at the house yet. So I
You know
kinda
what
just
beer
got this
sucks?
Spot. What?
I remember one of the managers at Burger King when I was in high school found out I was playing tennis in high school. And he's like, I play tennis. And I was like, cool. But he said, let's play tennis sometime. And if you win, I'll buy beer. And of course I was in high school. Fuck,
Sweet.
all right, I guess somebody's going to buy beer, and then I figured he'll probably buy beer either way, whether he wins or I win. So, he goes, if you lose, you got to buy the beer. And I was like, well, you're still going to use your ID to buy it. Like I can't buy it. And he's like, yeah, no, that's fine. You just pay for it.
Yeah, just
So I
pay
was
for
like,
it.
all right, great. So I was like, win or lose, I still get beer at the end. So
Yeah.
he goes, we're gonna. He goes. Of course, I lost and everything. And he
Did
was
he
like,
show
well,
up with a
we're
6-pack
gonna-
of Zima and a pocket of condoms?
he showed up with some Sam Adams, right?
I've never
So
had
he
Sam
gets
Adams.
this Sam Adams, and I took a sip of this beer, and I didn't spit it out, but I wanted to, and it's the first time I was ever like, see, he goes, "You don't like it?" And I was like, "Is there fucking pepper in this beer?" And he's just like, "No," but I swear to God, it tastes like there's
Really?
Yeah.
pepper in that fucking Sam Adams, and I never drink it since.
See,
like,
I
I hear
actually
they have
like-
like all those brands. And I used to get so fucking tired of that Sam Adams guy. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
The one that would pitch it. He was
Sam
so
Adams.
fucking annoying.
His name is Sam
No,
Adams.
no, his name wasn't Sam Adams.
Boston
No,
guy
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. That
Your
guy
cousin
that used
from
the
Boston.
pitch.
Yeah.
No. He was just a pitch. Yeah, he was
Your
sounded
cousin.
like that guy. But
from
yeah,
Boston.
I will
Yeah.
say that's one of my favorite from the newer era, since it kind of sucks. But I showed you the Bill Burr skit on SNL with the Sam Adams with the orange peel
yeah, yeah,
thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he chugs the whole thing. He's like, I don't like that. I don't like that.
yeah. He'll drink it all the way down.
The fuck is that?
Speaking of commercials, I have in my notes here, I wrote down 2 fucking commercials that I just find weird and bizarre. They're both radio commercials. I listened to a show out of North Carolina, a morning show called the Two Guys Named Chris Show. It kind of fits our personality about the same. So I'm not pulling a.
Well,
not
we're the
Nick
Two Guys Named
and
Nick
bring-
show.
Yeah. Well, this is the 2 Nicks and a Dick show. But
We should have named it that.
I know. Also, I like that one. And what was the other one? Tate misbehaving. That's also my. Love that one. I heard 2 commercials. Number 1 is for Skechers. And this fucking commercial was so ridiculous because it was this kid's kind of whining a little bit. He's like, I can't get it. I don't know it. I don't know how to do this. And they were like, are you tired of showing your kids how to tie their shoes? Get these Skechers slip-ons. And I'm just like, it's a fucking lazy parent commercial. Like, it's like I'm not fucking teaching my kid how to tie his shoes. I can just buy him some fucking Skechers and not worry about this shit.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to pawn this off on the school?
Yeah.
Just put Crocs on them and they'll never get laid.
That's and then the other one I heard was for I don't remember what company it's for, but the first time I heard it, I was just like, what? Because I did not take it in the context that it was. It goes, do you have a family member that barks or purrs? And I was just like,
that what?
Barks or purrs? I was like, no. Like,
you don't remember? You put your thumb up at that.
Right, but it was talking about like, your pets being your family members. But I pictured like somebody's uncle's like, arf, arf. It's just like, yeah, we got that crazy uncle.
A hell of a way to treat your family members.
If I took 10 family members, I promise you my dog would not be in the bottom 5.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I got 2 dogs, so they're both cracking top 5. So sorry, someone's getting edged out.
Your dogs are insane.
Oh wait, hold on. So
my introduction to your dog is the most chaotic event.
My dog?
At least the top 10 chaotic event of my life.
Yeah,
this dog's tummy's being sliced
surgery.
open because it ate everything in the house.
Having an emergency surgery. We're all crying over a dog we think we're going to lose. And it's like, well, I'm in town, so it's nice to see everybody.
Oh my God, the dog. And this one's coming over here. I was just like, I'm like on a fucking episode of ER here. Like, it was so dramatic. It was insane. All because that dog.
Yeah, because she fucking ate like 30 pounds of stuffing out of beds and toys and shit. Yeah, and a rope, a full rope toy.
Your wife is like dehydrated from crying so much.
Oh yeah, dude. We were crushed. Wait, but I was gonna say, but you were talking about Sam Adams. I've never had a Sam Adams, and I never will ever be able to drink a Sam Adams. Because
good for you.
Here's the thing. I've heard they're great. I actually like Oktoberfest beer, so I'm sure I'd probably like their Oktoberfest. I have an unnecessary thing that I'm holding to. To other people unnecessary. To me, I'll die on this hill. So back in 2016, when we went to the Super Bowl, Atlanta stopped serving, or they stopped carrying Sam Adams. They wouldn't sell Sam Adams here because it's a Boston beer. So since we were playing the Patriots, they refused, like every gas station in Atlanta stopped selling Sam Adams. And the ones up in New England stopped selling like Sweetwater and shit like that. And after we lost that Super Bowl, I've never fucking had a Sam Adams, and I hate that company. And like if I go somewhere and people, if they're like, hey, you want a beer? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And they get a Sam Adams out. I'm like, I'll take water. I can't drink it. Like I'll refuse the beer. Like I can't drink it. Sorry. I can't do it.
I know they have like 1,000 different flavors now and all that stuff, but I've never gone back.
Now there's 1,000 flavors you won't ever try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Every once in a while, I'm like, that one seems good, but I can't drink it. Like I went over to
question for you
our
guys.
old drummer's house, and
I have a beer question I was going to ask both of y'all.
And I was like, I can't do it, man. I'm sorry. And he was like, are you really going to fucking hold to this? This is the only beer in the house. I'm offering you a beer. I was like, I'd rather not drink anything. I can't do it, dude.
I'll just stay here and dehydrate.
I'll eat dirt. I'll eat pounds of dirt while you guys drink before I fucking put that in my body. I won't do it.
Have you ever heard the John Mulaney stand up where he talks about going to parties after you've quit drinking? He's like, you'll go to these parties and they will have no idea what to offer you.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, everybody, beer's in the fridge and this is in the liquor cabinet. And, oh, Mulaney, I've got a old Nuva ring in the back of the fridge. But would you like that?
I think I have a tab in the back of the refrigerator.
Yeah. I got an old turnip. Would you like tab? That? Would that be good for you?
Do you remember tab?
Yeah. Give me. Tab? Yeah. I don't know. Give me a tab. I can't run you a tab until you tell me what you want to drink. But so I have a beer question I forgot to ask you guys on the group chat sometimes. By the way, if you want to really make some money, you should let people have access to the group chat and see what we really talk about in between episodes. That's
the show before the show. Only available on Sayge Dive, by the way.
That's right.
Horrible idea.
Start shelling out, people. But do they still make? I can't find it here, but I don't know if it's a local thing. But one of the beers I used to love to drink in the '90s was Rollin' Rock.
Yeah, they still. Make
I even ordered a Rollin' Rock sticker.
Yeah,
I can't find it up here. I don't know. All right. Once again,
from Pennsylvania.
Next
how
to
do
that.
how do they not have it up there? It's
I haven't seen it.
It's literally made in Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
You know what I miss in North Carolina was those the drive-through liquor stores where you can pull up and not even get out of your car.
I'm in a hurry, but I'm also an alcoholic. So
For the alcoholic on the go.
Yeah. Do you need to drink and drive?
Do I anymore?
Do you have to drink and drive? We have a business for you.
Yeah.
They used to have those in Ohio too. I remember seeing the first time I saw that. I'm
like, on the go?
wait. This is a drive-through liquor store? My uncle's like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know how good of an idea this is.
Yeah. I mean, I like it.
Literally,
that's just because I'm on that side of the law.
Well, because literally, as soon as it would get into the car, the first thing he'd do is crack one open.
Yeah, really.
Know what I mean, right in the car, drinking it.
Hey, guy, is it not an option for you because you'll shake at the construction site?
Yeah.
I'm like 15 years old, and he's an alcoholic, so we're both drinking beer on the way home from work. Like, hey, if you're gonna go down, you might as well,
Well, so here you have like, I don't know, the laws up here are weird about buying beer. I think we discussed this on a previous episode. Like a convenience store has to have a place for you to sit and eat and that kind of stuff. Yeah, we talked about that. So they have like beer stores. Like it's just, they have like the liquor stores, but it's weird because they're more warehouse style here than like a liquor store down. They have a couple of like shopping center liquor stores, but they're few and far. You can actually go to these.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Are you saying that like if you go into like a Quick Trip style store,
you can't buy any beer? Yeah.
You can't buy beer there?
Yeah.
Well, you can like the Sheets, you can buy beer, but they have a sitting area. Because they have a sitting area with a restaurant style and serve food and stuff. If it was like
to be able to allow people to sit and eat if they can buy booze.
Right.
So you're
even
telling
if it's
them, the only way we're going to sell this to you is if you drink and drive.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, but here's the thing: you can only buy so much at a time.
Of course.
So if you're buying 2 cases of beer, you have to buy it, go take it, put it in your car, go back in the store, grab another one, wait in line again, pay for that beer. And
so let me ask you: did the people that you guys elected up there, did they not think this through? That this was, did they not see that loophole?
Well, it's the same.
Let me tell you.
Though,
hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. This will explain it all. Do you know that?
I think the last election explains it all. But go ahead.
Do you know like the health advisor that's the trans?
Yeah, that tells me that. Yeah,
that came from Pennsylvania.
Yep.
That started here.
Yeah.
We also now have a lieutenant
one that
governor?
looks like Garth. It looks like the one from Garth from Wayne.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you've got that other fucking.
And then we got this Fetterman who keeps.
Yeah.
Who wears hoodies everywhere? He looks like a drug dealer on a corner of any other town, and like that's what we elect.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting into.
It's kind of the same thing as the 3.2 beer in places like. I mean, you talk about like in Minnesota and shit like that. Like,
yeah.
It's the dumbest shit.
You can't buy regular beer in Minnesota. They have 3.2. So I didn't understand it. I know I've told this story before, but not everybody heard it. But you can't buy regular beer in a convenience store because I was up there. I'm like, hey, my cousin was like, hey, let's go buy some beer on the way home. I'm like, cool. And I'm like, hey, there's a store right there. She's like, no, we can't buy it there. I'm like, why? She's like, well, that's 3.2. I'm like, what? I don't know what that means. She's like, well, the beer is only 3.2% alcohol. So they have to make separate beer for the beer they sell in the gas station.
Well, remember, she thought it was like a thing down here too. She's like, you can buy beer from a gas station. We're like,
yeah, I'm like,
yeah, we do. And she was like, no, what? You guys buy beer from a gas station down there? We're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, but up there they sell liquor at CVS. They won't sell cigarettes, but they sell liquor. So, okay.
Fucking backwards.
Fucking people up there. How do you?
It's the same like over in Michigan. You spent some time in Michigan, right?
Yep.
Do you remember going to like Meijer or any Meier's like a Walmart? And they would have like you could buy like Jack Daniels there at like a department store.
It's pretty sweet,
right? Yeah, it's like how the Walmarts are now, where it's like they'll sell clothes and groceries. It's like
it's like a Walmart the way it's got like.
But remember the old Walmarts didn't have groceries, so.
Well, shit, I told you the old Kroger, the Kroger by our old house had a full bar in it. It was just beer and wine, I guess. They couldn't serve liquor, but they had a bar in there, and they would give out 3 free samples a day. And there were these 2 couples. They were like 80 fucking years old. That they were retired, and they would go to Walmart and they would take their free samples, and then they would start buying.
Kroger.
Yeah, Kroger. They would get the free samples, and then they start buying, and they would just go hang out. Oh, good move on their part. They called it the Crowbar. That rules.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. But they would go sit at the Crowbar, and they would fucking get hammered and then drive home. They were like 80. They didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, they didn't give a shit.
I'm dying any day. I can be like Gilbert Grape. I could die at any minute.
Every time we went there, they were getting drunk as shit.
Another cool name too is, and it's not a name of any particular place, but they don't have liquors. It's funny because they don't call them liquor stores in Michigan either. They're just called party stores, which seems more accurate. Like it seems we know what you're doing, so let's just get you supplies for it.
They sell streamers and
birthday bands. Just booze. Just booze.
Streamers and liquor.
It's what they call the party essential, the booze. But it's definitely crazy. But like here, it's a pain in the ass.
It's just it makes me. I don't understand how they could make a company brew 2 different kinds of beer, one with less alcohol than the other, and it's in the same can. It just, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I just started laughing because I just thought they have a store designed where you could go get streamers and one of those buckets of Fireball mini bottles in case you're a party clown or a pedophile.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Guess who?
Guess who? My God, for like a whole summer of what 2004, 2005. Yeah. That's what I heard every time I fucking answered the phone call.
That weirdly transitions into one of my stories.
All right, take over.
Well, okay, so I was like when you guys were like that. I'm today years old when I learned this thing.
Yeah.
So I recently, like it was like a couple days ago, I heard this, and I did not know that this was the origin of this song that we've all heard for quite a long time. So Stage Dive is getting very close to launching, and because of that, me and John are gonna be jumping on podcast circuits and doing some interviews in different places. And one of those, I should be jumping on Rock and Roll Autopsy soon, which is cool. Go check those guys out. But I was listening to their show, trying to kind of get an idea as to, I hadn't heard them before, so I was listening to their show to get an idea since we're gonna be on there with them. And they have a cool show. Each one is like, did this thing kill rock and roll? And they kind of deep dive everything. And they had one on Pearl Jam, specifically the song Alive. So obviously you guys are familiar with that song.
Yes.
Do you know what that song's about? Because I bet you actually don't. I bet you're going to say yes, and I bet you don't, because I thought I knew what it was about.
I'd have to listen to it again.
There's a whole second fucking part of the story that I was very unaware of.
Well, fill me in, and I'll let you know if I'm familiar
with
it.
Okay, so hold on. So what would you say Alive is about so far?
It's been so long since I've heard it. I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have the memory to. At one point, I think I looked
Wasn't it
into
about
it.
a kid looking for his dad or something? Was that the same song I'm thinking of? Or?
Yes, so that is
Yeah.
the song. So here's the thing. So what everyone knows is the song is basically talking about how, like, hey, sorry you never met your dad. This guy that you thought was your
Right.
dad is actually not your dad. Your real
Yeah.
dad died or some shit like
Yeah.
that. Sorry you didn't get to
Right.
meet him. So that's what me and fucking I think everyone else I've ever met thought that song was about. There's a real twisted second part of that song. And here's the thing. Are you aware that Pearl Jam actually has a trilogy that starts on the 10 album? It's that song, another one off of 10, and then there's another song that continues it later, part of something called the Mama Son trilogy.
No.
Do you have any idea what I'm fucking talking about? I had
No.
never heard about this until I listened to this podcast. Apparently, this is a thing. So Eddie Vedder talked about it in an interview.
It sounds
and
very
explained
Pink Floyd-ish stuff.
Well, I guess I don't know. Eddie Vedder talked about it in an interview. And look, if this is the point he was trying to get across, he should have made the fucking lyrics a little more detailed. I'm gonna be honest. So the second verse of Alive, which never made a whole lot of sense to me. It's the part walks across the room and are you ready for me and all that shit. Apparently, the second part of that song is that yes. So I guess it was based off Eddie Vedder or the other guy in the band that hadn't met his dad or something like that. But I believe it was Eddie Vedder that grew up thinking his dad was his dad, found out that's actually not his dad, that's his stepdad. And his real dad, he found out that was his dad at a show or some shit like that. Like the real dad came up to him and they talked and he introduced himself until he found out his dad was not actually his dad. Like blood-wise, that his stepdad had raised him. And it was something along those lines.
Okay.
So at some point in his life, he just gets blindsided that, what do you mean you're my dad? I have, this guy's my dad. And it's like, well,
Right.
Actually, I'm your biological dad, but that guy raised you, but he just got blindsided about it. He had no idea that was a thing, and supposedly that's what the actual second part is when it says like something about like sorry you didn't talk to him or sorry you didn't meet him or some shit like that. It's actually not in response to that sorry you as the kid didn't get to talk to him. It's the kid saying sorry you as the mom didn't get to talk to him again before he died or some shit like that. And
Wait, who died?
The dad, the biological dad in Alive. I don't know what happened in reality, but I guess in Alive, what the song is about is same beginning. There's a biological dad that leaves or something, and then a stepdad comes in. Sorry that this kid finds out that your dad's not actually your dad. It's actually your stepdad, your biological dad somewhere else. He finds out from the real dad, but the mom was still in love with the biological dad the whole time. And when she looks at the son, all she can see is the biological father.
Uh-huh.
And so the second verse is about how the mom molests the son because she's in love with the dad.
But she sees enough of the dad in the boy
that she molests him.
There's some movie like that with the opposite where guys like molesting his daughter.
I'm going to be honest. They didn't make that real fucking clear in the song.
Yeah, because it kind of made it seem like it was a guy who was basically having sex with a girl for her first time. That's what I thought it meant.
Right. So that second verse that is about that, having sex with his girl for the first time, it's about having sex with his mom.
Why is there blood?
I don't know. I don't know exactly, but apparently that's what it's about. That's from Eddie Vedder in an interview. Apparently that's what the song is about, is the son gets molested by the mom in that second verse. That's what it's about. So the trilogy starts at Alive. The son is so fucked up from getting molested by his mom that he becomes a serial killer. Once, which opens up the 10 album, is that's that boy who's grown up now and is a serial killer. And that's, once upon a time I could control myself. That's about him killing people, but it's because he was fucked up from getting molested as a little kid from his mom. So apparently that's the second part of his story, is once is what happens to that kid later after he grows up. He becomes a serial killer, starts fucking killing women. And there's another song, I don't remember which album it's off of, but there's another song where he has to atone for it, basically, and that's what that song is about. But there's a trilogy of these songs that are all tied together from Pearl Jam. It's the Mama Son trilogy. I had no fucking idea this existed until like 2 days ago.
Makes me think of like maybe was Jeremy, was he the kid Jeremy that
I
was
don't know.
shooter?
Well,
You
no,
know,
because Jeremy kills himself. That's what that song's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy spoken glass. Apparently, Jeremy kills himself. I think it was something kind of like, "Hey man, nice shot."
Yeah.
Apparently, that's what that one's about. But yeah, I don't know. Apparently, those are 3 songs that are tied together. I don't remember what the last one is. But yeah, it's Alive. He gets molested once. He's fucking killing women because he's all fucked up from it.
Well,
and then the last
so
one he has to atone.
I'm sure you guys probably know this, but do you know why they're named Pearl Jam as opposed? Do you know what their original name of their band was? Right.
I heard it once before.
Actually,
It's been a long
I feel like
time
I've heard
too.
it before. But
Before they were Pearl Jam, they were known as Mookie Blaylock. Mookie Blaylock was a Atlanta
Basketball
Hawk.
player, yeah.
He was a
Atlanta
basketball
Hawk.
player for the Hawks, but he
Yeah.
played college. I think he played college up in the Northwest somewhere, and they loved him as a basketball player so much they named their band after him. And then, so Mookie wore the number 10, so that's why they named the album 10.
oh, that makes sense.
Because Mookie wore number 10. Mookie was one of my favorite players too for the Hawks.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, I got to meet him at one of those.
once
meet
he went to
and
the
greets.
once he went to the pros and stuff, they realized that, hey, we can't call our
Yeah.
band Blaylock anymore.
Yeah, he might have a trademark in his name even. But I mean, maybe he would have been into it, like been a fan and been okay with it, and then he was like, I need to talk to you guys about this trilogy.
Yeah. Hey, so I looked it up to get what that last song was. Oddly enough,
Yeah.
this is kind of funny because you said Jeremy. Footsteps was the B-side to Jeremy on the UK release, and it's about the protagonist is now in prison and on death row, and that's what it's about. Is he's on death row for being a serial killer in once, and he's a serial killer in once because of the trauma he experienced in Alive.
I got to read those lyrics again because
Isn't B-sides an album term?
you know, it's funny you guys mentioned the B-side because on the trip out west, my nephew went along with us, and my dad was playing all of his music, and he loves like the Rolling Stones, and every song he played was shit that I'd never heard before. And I said,
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing all the B-sides. I want to hear some of the
The hits.
A-side songs. I
Jumpin'
want to hear
Jack
the
Flash
hits.
and shit.
Right. I want to hear, Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Let's get some brown sugar up in here.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, every one of the songs you're playing is, I know who it is. I can tell who it is by them playing, but I've never heard any of these songs. And so we
And
got
every
into
time
the
he's amazed,
conversation.
like, you never heard this song? No, I've never heard this.
Yeah, that's the thing. I played some songs for him that was just like, he wasn't familiar with them. Like, what do you mean you're not familiar with this? This was your wheelhouse,
Yeah.
And I don't remember specifics on the songs, but then I had to explain, what was a B-side. I said, so if you're not familiar, the A-side is the hit. So whenever a band would release a hit on the 45 record, you know what a 45 is?
Yeah.
Right.
A 45
That's
is
what
the
I'm
smaller
talking
one.
about.
Right. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
one song on the front. That's the A-side.
Yet
That's the hit.
somehow had a bigger center.
Right.
You had
so
that little plastic gimmick in the middle.
Right. So, but on the B-side was the other song that came with it, and it was the less popular song. But a lot of times the B-side became more popular than the A-side. Like, for example, Ballad of Curtis Lowe
That
from
was a
Skinner.
B-side, right?
That was a B-side song.
What was
And
the
it
A-side?
became, I don't remember.
And
but,
when you were telling this, I was actually about to bring that one up exactly and ask you what was the A-side, because Ballad of Curtis Lowe I know, but I don't know what the A-side was.
I know that was a B-side, but and I had to explain that to my nephew. I mean, he's like 16, so I had to explain to him.
Yeah.
First of all, do you know what a 45 is? Do you know what a record is? Let
Yeah.
me show you a picture.
Let's work our way back.
On this.
I remember one time you and I did a gig down in at the Landmark Dodge down there. We played all this shit that they wanted to hear and all. It was when they had that new dealership too, the big one.
Yep.
And we were riding back, and you were like, you know what? I got to get all that shit out of my system. And we went on a big Rolling Stones kick, and we were playing like the was it 19 Nervous Breakdown, and We had Paint It Black going, and like
Yeah,
it was
they got a
fun
million
car.
great songs.
It was
yeah,
a
what was it?
fucking fun ass car ride. Actually,
40
because-
Licks was such a fun fucking double album kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
This
40
guy-
Licks kicked ass.
Yeah, that was actually one that I
fucking
was
listen to
playing.
Shattered.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I remember we had 40 Licks and we used to listen to that all the time. It was fucking
Yeah,
It was crazy.
Yeah,
it's
that
like
was-
40 fucking hits in a row. Like that's insane.
every one of
It's-
them was fantastic.
It's weird because like they got so big that everybody, it's the Stones and all that kind of stuff, and you think of like Start Me Up and all that kind of stuff, but they have so much good shit.
Yeah,
like
they really
it's
do.
insane, And they're it's weird because like people are like, oh, that's just what Martin Scorsese likes to put in every fucking gangster film or something like that, where he plays,
That's awesome.
you'll hear like "Gimme Shelter" in every clip of a thing. Oh,
I fucking love that song.
speaking of which, this is probably more for you, Nick. I heard a weirdest fucking fact the other day. You know how you like Pablo Francisco?
Yeah,
And what's his main beat? Is doing the movie guy, right?
he's the movie guy in a
Right.
world.
Right. So I found out the very first movie that used that in their promo, like legit, not like comedy bit.
The real guy, not Pablo.
Yeah. Whatever that LaFontaine guy's name is, or whatever. I don't remember his name. I know he's dead, but the very first movie to use that in a world was Goodfellas.
No shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like this weird little trivia thing that they had, and they were like, "It's
Oh,
the
there he
first
is.
one
Trivia
that
guy.
actually
Look at that.
used
Ties
that."
right back into the last episode. Trivia guy.
You mean
Yep.
the next one?
Or
We'll
the
talk
next
about
one,
this
or
again in the
the
next one. You're in the Matrix. But
Good
yeah,
job,
it's crazy.
segue guy.
That's one of the first one that does like in a world,
That's awesome.
and it became such a thing. It became such a thing that Pablo basically based his the whole bit on starting with that. And he would do like the tortilla boy or whatever.
He sounded like the guy.
Yeah.
he really did.
It was funny because when that guy died, I was kind of like, hey, if
Get Pablo.
Pablo
Francisco.
needs a job, he could probably fill right there. and
I'll tell you what.
He wouldn't miss a fucking beat.
Yeah, well, he definitely needs a job. I told you, it's ruined for me a little bit because Pablo Francisco is so funny. All I can see is his fucking meltdown video I told you guys about, where he was like all coked up and got in a fight with the guy. And I actually forgot he falls off the stage in that video too. He and it's great because he's fighting with the guy. So the guy's like talking shit to him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, well, why don't you suck my ding dong?" And he falls off the stage right when he fucking says it. He says that and then just right off the stage. It's
like the
fucking
fact that he
awesome.
Like the fact that he said ding dong.
Yeah, would you suck my ding dong? Oh! Like, just right off the fucking. I mean, he's coke
We
sweating
saw
all
him.
over the
I
place.
think we went to go see him one time, didn't we? Did we go see him at one of
Yes,
the...
we did. We saw. Yeah, we did.
He was so funny, but man, he just.
I don't know if he was coked up. He kept his shit together that night.
I mean,
It
this
was a
one
good
he
show.
was coke sweating and doing the same bit like over, and it was like he forgot that he told it because he was all fucked up, and he would go back into the movie guy after he would wrap it up and then tell like one more joke and then go back into the movie guy thing like he had never done it, and people started heckling him.
Yeah.
And then
when in doubt, go back to movie guy.
but he restarted the bit like he hadn't told it yet. And people started heckling him, and he just started fucking fighting with the crowd. Like, you won't fucking come up here and hit me. How about that? Like he just started fighting with them. And then
It's like you're watching his career implode real time.
absolutely.
Well, what's
it was,
funny
it was
is he
absolutely like a Kramer like video where
I was
So
about to
think of-
where you
suggest it's
just
very much like
you're
Kramer.
watching it
Yeah.
fucking implode, and right when you're like, oh my god, this guy's ruining his career, he falls
It
off
gets
the
worse.
stage.
Do you know what the funniest part of that Kramer thing was? Was a couple of years
All of
after
it?
with Chappelle.
Oh yeah.
And Chappelle was on the stage, and he kind of looked back and he noticed the stage setting where, I forget what it says, where he goes,
Yeah. Laugh
he goes,
Factory, I think.
yeah, he's like, I see this sign and everything, and all I could think of was Kramer fucking up.
Kramer, fuck it up.
Kramer fucking up.
Yeah, I think that was at the Laugh Factory.
That was funny. Yeah, I think so too. And
Yeah.
it's funny too because he talked about watching that not as a black person but as a comedian.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, brother having a rough set. I don't think he used brother, but since we're trying to abide by YouTube stuff here. He's like, brother, having a rough set. It's like, hang in there, Kramer. It's like, this shit was funny. But God dang it, I had a point before that I was going to get back to. I can't remember what it was because we're old now. But shit.
Well, hold on. So I had something too. If we want to
bail us out,
jump into something. So we this one shouldn't take too long. So I figure it's a good one near the end of the episode here. I saw this article today and I thought it was pretty interesting. So, we talked a little while back. I asked you guys the question of when do you kind of bail out on these older musicians? So, I know you guys kind of took it to like, well, when people stop showing up is when they should retire. Remember I said like, when should a band retire? Or like when people stop showing up or stop buying tickets. It was less so about like the general public and more so you guys, like at what point do you hit like, I don't want to see my favorite band this way? Like, is it that they're too old to perform the same way or what?
It would
where is
depend on the circumstances.
For sure, but I know one that gets brought up a lot is bands that use monitors. Like I know there's a lot of like, I know Ozzy has a monitor that has all of his lyrics on there because he can't remember the lyrics. I think Rob Halford has it too. And it's like, how do you feel about that? You know what I mean? But if they're putting on a good show, you don't really know it, so I'm kind of fine with that. But
I remember going to see, just real quick, I remember going to see REM and they were doing End of the World as We Know It, and he had it all printed out and he would like fucking fling the paper behind him as he'd like
that's
finish
funny,
it.
Though.
Yeah, it was
that's a good way to do that, I think.
It's almost like part of the act with it. And I thought that was pretty
That's
cool.
a good way to do that, I think. That's actually funny. But I know one of them is like people using tracks. Like, how do you feel about like almost lip syncing your music? Like,
okay,
I don't know if I care.
I have a strong opinion on this. I don't have a problem with a band using a backing track if it's something that can't be produced normally. For example,
if you have like strings or something in your music.
Well, right. So if you've got an instrument, just think back like Pantera. There were a lot of Pantera songs that when the guitar went to a solo, there was a guitar backing track, right? In the recording, there was actually him playing the rhythm behind the solo.
Oddly enough, Rex recorded most of this.
I didn't know that, but I have no problem with, either like a guitar tech in the back of the stage playing it or having a backing track. What I have a problem with is someone who is just basically not plugged in.
Yeah.
That's just out there lip syncing, doing it Milli Vanilli style.
I was going to say going full Milli Vanilli.
Kind of Motley Crue doing what they're doing.
So that's what I was about to bring up actually is Motley Crue, because Motley Crue is...
I got a problem with that.
Yeah, Motley Crue has been accused of using, and it's very clear they are, like using backing tracks that are not them playing, and Kiss is notorious for it also.
They're not backing tracks. They're not backing tracks at that point.
It's the whole thing. It's the track.
They're lip syncing to a track.
Right.
It's already been recorded.
So, Kiss is notorious. Kiss is notorious for that, and I think at one point they were kind of just like, "Hey, look, we're putting on a show, so you come to see the show." You know what I mean? Like they're kind of, they're kind of sidestepping it.
I will say I have less problem with it if you know up front and you decide I'm cool. I just want to see them.
Yeah.
Look,
like
I'll
if
say
you know up front.
As much as I hate Gene Simmons, I think Kiss would be a very fun show to see because of everything that is Kiss. You know what I mean? Like the shooting fire out of the thing, the spitting blood. Like it's a little cartoonish. I think they would be a very fun show to see. But they're also, I would equate them at this point with how old they are and using the backtracks and stuff to like the most fun tailgate before you go into a show or like a stadium or something. Like it seems like they would be like a really fun, like I'm gonna fucking drink and party and sing Detroit Rock City, and I don't care that they're essentially just playing it over a fucking PA system.
But their music is not hard to play. That's the thing.
I think it's more of the vocals. I don't know that Paul Stanley can hit all the notes anymore, and I think some of the vocals are, at least some of those highs are pumped in through the speakers.
I mean, a little bit of help I'm okay with. I don't want to go there and just them not even be plugged in and they're just dancing around on stage and they're pretending to be playing.
Right.
That I have a problem with that.
I think for Kiss, they're still playing the songs for the most part, like on guitar and shit. But when you hear the "Feel I'm tired on a Saturday night," I think he's just moving his fucking mouth, and it's the PA is doing the work.
With that. I'm okay with a little bit of that. I really am. I get that, those kind of issues. Their shit is not hard to play.
Right. Well, and
I mean,
for example, I saw Def Leppard years ago, and you could hear then with Joe Elliott's voice, I was like, I'm glad I saw him now, because in a year or two, I don't think he's hitting these notes anymore. Like he's struggling. And it's not fair.
He set the bar really high back in the day.
It's not fair because, I mean, he's hitting fucking crazy notes, but it's like, okay, well, yeah, but that's how you sang it. And now,
well,
you can't just cut that song out because it's every song in your set list is high up like that.
Well, here's the thing about Def Leppard. It's there. I wouldn't have a problem with them having backing tracks on their background vocals, because the way their background vocals are recorded,
right?
They're really like, and a lot of people don't understand it, but their background vocals are about 40 tracks.
Right. Okay. So how about
the same
this,
thing being so for thickness, they need to make the song sound right. They need a backing track, because you can't reproduce it on stage, because there's the way it's recorded. There's just not enough.
Here's a perfect example. Queen, when they do Bohemian Rhapsody, they're not going to sing that middle part.
Right, right. So there needs a little help on that.
Right. Well, so what I'll say is, my old guitar teacher, he said one of the coolest things he ever saw was actually on that song. He said he saw Queen with Freddie Mercury, and one of the fucking coolest things about their whole show was on Bohemian Rhapsody. He said what they did was, when it hit that middle part, they just played the song over the speakers. Like as soon as it hit the piano,
right?
They played the song. But he said they had this crazy light show, and every light was a different voice that was in the was in the thing. So as a Galileo, like each one is a different light on each side of the stage singing to each other, and then they all light up with the big thing. But he said then it was like this crazy bright light that like kind of blinded everybody, where you almost had to like look away from it, and then right when you looked away, they hit the pyro, and now the whole band is back on the stage for the it's like,
I'm okay with that.
Awesome way to do that.
If it can be reproduced with the instruments at the time, it should be.
So here's a good question. We'll use Def Leppard as an example because I brought them up. So what if, let's say, all the background singers can still hit their notes, but Joe Elliott can't?
Having him with a little having some additional boost here and there is I'm okay with.
I'm saying he outright cannot hit those high notes anymore. So he's either picking a low harmony or you're faking it.
Well, that's something they'd have to figure out on the way. I mean,
that goes back to the where do you tap out on a band? Yeah,
I'll tell you an example.
Somebody else hit that note?
I don't know. I mean, those are pretty high notes. But the reason I brought this up was Motley Crue, actually. So this ties into Motley Crue. Is there's a story that just came out that Mick Mars has now said that he actually did not play on the last 3 Motley Crue albums.
Yeah. I read that too.
Did you see that where he said that?
I didn't open the article, but I read it
a little bit. So one of
I don't
those,
like to read.
One of those would be one of the ones that was when Vince Neil was brought back into the band. Who was the guy they had?
I don't remember that dude's name.
But they're fucking Gary Sharon, basically the guy that showed up that no one gave a shit about. That guy apparently has come out and said that yes, Mick Mars is correct. Even 20 years ago, they were disrespecting him, that when he would lay down his part, they would just say, I don't give a fuck what he laid down. Have someone else come and do it if we would rather do that. But that basically they were cutting Mick Mars out of everything.
Let me give you a side story on that real quick.
Hold on before we get, hold on. So my question is, so he didn't record that, or he laid his tracks down and they had a studio musician come in and play it?
I guess it's a mix. So they weaned him off over time. So I guess the last album was mostly GJ Ashba, who was Nikki Sixx's guitar player in 6 a.m. And he also played with that Guns N' Roses fucking terrible version that Axl brought back. But I guess he was the guy that recorded Mick Mars's parts these last however many years when it was supposedly Mick Mars. And Mick Mars claims that he laid down his guitar tracks and they kind of said, fuck you, and brought in the other guy and had him lay down the parts instead. And
Well, is it because they thought he can't? The parts didn't sound well. Is he not able to play them anymore?
supposedly,
To me, he's the only musician in that band.
that's kind of what I'm saying. And Nikki Sixx has said, like, no, that's absolutely not true. Everything you heard is Mick Mars, unless, of course, he couldn't remember his part or play it correctly. And it's like, well, that kind of seems like a way to weasel around the topic at hand, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, supposedly Mick Mars is saying that, you know, that this has been the case for 3 full albums. And that other singer kind of said, like, no, Mick came in, he laid down good parts. And it seems like they were cutting him out of the creative process that Nikki, especially Nikki Sixx, wanted it a certain way. Tommy Lee kind of wanted a certain way and was on Nikki Sixx's side. And Nick, that's Nikki Sixx's band. You know, he's the James Hetfield of that band in terms of what he says goes. You know, like how James and Lars are on Metallica. I mean, it's his band. Yeah. He owns it. What he says goes. He's the one who makes the final call. And supposedly, Mick Mars came in to lay down his parts, and Nikki Sixx was like, nah, fuck it. I want it a different way, and brought in a different guitar player. And they put Mick Mars' name on the album, but it wasn't his part. And apparently that's something that never sat well with Mick Mars. But now that he's officially out of the band, he's kind of been like, hey, fuck those guys. And here's what's going on. Here's what's been going on for 20 years.
Yeah.
I remember watching MTV News one time when they brought in the new lead singer and they replaced Vince Neil.
Yeah.
And they had the guys from Motley Crue on an interview, and apparently Vince Neil had gotten to a surfboard accident where he had like crashed on some rocks or something, right? And he had like gotten hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
And they had them, I think it was like Kurt Loder that was interviewing them. And they were like, hey, you know, I know there's a little bit of bad blood and everything, but, you know, how do you feel about Vince Neil, you know, getting hurt and on the surfer? And I remember thinking, like, holy fucking shit, because their answer was like, did anybody check on those rocks that he hit? Like, are they okay? And they were just like, they spilled the whole thing about like how these rocks might be fucked up because Vince Neil hit them, and like they had no compassion whatsoever.
Jeez.
Yeah, they really seem like a bunch of dicks. They really
did.
Mick Mars kind of seems like he's a pretty cool dude. I'll be honest, Nikki Sixx especially seems like a fucking douchebag.
And I have one more thing to go back on all the stuff you were talking about. I need to go all the way back to Kiss. When I was a kid and just getting into rock music, they were around in the 70s. I was born in 73. So like, you know, they were already well established when I started tuning into rock music and stuff. And I remember being highly confused because Gene Simmons was such a powerful character in that band and everything, and like the face of it. And I remember like I'd watch them perform and I was like, well, he's the main guy. Why is that guy singing all the songs though? Like I didn't understand that he like just
that Paul Stanley was actually the front man.
I was like, why is he? I was like, he sings a lot of the songs though. Like, but this guy's the main guy. Like, I didn't even know their names at the time.
Yeah,
I knew one was a demon, one was a star child. I didn't even know their names by then. But I remember being totally confused. I was like, every time I saw them interviewed, I never heard Paul Stanley talk in interviews.
Yeah,
it was always Gene Simmons hogging the spotlight and all that stuff back then. But I remember being totally confused by that. I was like, why is that guy?
I personally think Paul Stanley's way cooler than Gene Simmons. Paul Stanley actually seems like he might not that he would be a dude that I would want to hang out with, but seems like if you ran into him, he might be pretty cool to you. But Gene Simmons seems like he might want to sue you for any given fucking thing you say in that conversation.
Right.
Well, it rained real hard, and there was a snail outside when I went to the house to piss, and I thought he was a lot cooler than Gene Simmons too.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It sucks because it's not like I'm like like a huge fan of Kiss or Kiss Army or anything, but like they're a fun band. You know what I mean? Like they're a fun band
as an act. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm talking about personality.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I like some of their I like a lot of their music. They're a fun band that like all of that shit. They're very important in the history of music and all that. And Gene Simmons is just such a cocksucker. It makes me not want to support the band. But like,
Yeah.
I want to.
Oh, I
You know?
agree. Like it does take away. It did take away.
Yeah.
And I remember in middle school, it was like you can either like Kiss or you can like Motley Crue, and I was like, why can't I listen to both? Like, why is this a thing?
Oddly enough,
there was
both
like
of
two
those
groups of
bands,
kids.
those are two perfect examples of the guitar player being disrespected, and Ace Frehley is the best musician in Kiss, and Mick Mars is the best musician in Motley Crue by a long shot.
And real quick, I want to go back to the Pablo thing because I remembered what I was going to say. We were talking about. So you remember he had that bit where he was like the little tortilla boy. He started in Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was like did his impersonation. And then now they have all these I don't know what they call them, where they insert like Arnold Schwarzenegger in all these films. Where they put Arnold in Titanic, and he's like got the necklace. He's like, Jack, I want you to draw me in this and only this and stuff like that. Like they do it. I wonder if Pablo's like drunk in like high in an alley somewhere, going, "I fucking did that shit way before." Like I was doing that Arnold shit way before anybody was ever.
I gotta be honest. Based off that fucking video, I really wonder if Pablo Francisco was alive.
Yeah, that would be something to Google. He's probably running a bowling alley. Graveyard shift or something.
You really did watch his career just die in real time. Like it's rough knowing like, oh man, he was such a good comic and like such a good talent and everything, and like
so
he just could not fucking be clean.
What's his name? Who had the show that you watched all the time? As far as the Hispanic comedians, the name's slipping me.
George Lopez.
Yeah. He seems to be the only one that's really kind of survived everything. Like I've read about Carlos Mencia. Really got fucking like Rogan ripped him apart for.
Well, he should have.
Yeah, for like stealing material and all that kind of like and then, and then Pablo Francisco, like the shit that happened. It seems like Lopez is the only one that's really.
Well, there's like the Iglesias guy. What's his name?
Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy.
He's
Fluffy.
Funny as shit.
Yeah, he is. Fluffy. He is funny. Well, but like you're right though. Like that old kind of like those Hispanic comics that get Pablo Francisco and George Lopez.
They were like a generation before Fluffy because Fluffy talked about those being his mentors and stuff. But
I think it's because really George Lopez was. I think he was more of a like. Real comic, like
he's more of like an every guy too. Like
but everybody he did put the time in at enough clubs and stuff that he was respected by comics, respected by the industry and stuff. But he also
the industry, do you mean the business?
Yeah, exactly. But any of his stuff that even might have been the like kind of catering, like the hacky like kind of Hispanic stuff, it was well done. It was funny, and he was really good at it. But he also was a good comic aside from just those couple like here's an easy like Mexican guy joke to make, you know what I mean? Like he was a good comic outside of that. But I mean,
they had that like that original Kings of Comedy thing that came out with all the black guys, and then so they followed up with like a Latin Kings of Comedy, and George Lopez I think is the only one that's really had any relevancy.
Well, because Carlos Mencia really was like the bit. I mean, he was like the Dane Cook of that. I mean, he was a massive name in that.
The
Rogan thing really.
I remember thinking he was funny when we went to see it, but honestly, I can't think of you can't think of any other bits besides the movie guy, like the movie trailer voice. Like I don't remember other jokes that he had. I remember that bit. A lot, and it's a funny bit, and it's really good. But he almost seemed like a one-trick pony with that, because that became so popular. It's like that's what people wanted to hear. Hey, do the movie voice guy, It
almost seemed like he should have been like an SNL guy or something like that, like put him where he could do like sketches and voices and stuff like that,
I don't know if you guys have seen it. Do you guys ever use Peacock? I don't know what that means.
Yes.
You guys ever use Peacock on the So they have like channels that you can scroll down and pick a channel, and one of them is they have what's called the SNL Vault, and it's awesome. You put it on there, and they just
bounce
all the old
Farley stuff.
Yeah, they'll do like a new one, a current one. They'll go back to Eddie Murphy. They'll come like they bounce all around 49 seasons worth of stuff, and it's really good. It's like I remember watching some of that recently. It's pretty good.
you know, for the listeners who can't see, we just got the cue waving the phone around and wrap this shit the fuck up. I'm ready to go to bed. And it made me think of Charlie Day from Always Sunny. Mm-hmm. He was doing an interview where he talked about one of the seasons that they did is where the gang thinks they're gonna die because they're stuck in this thing that's filling up with water. And so they're going to end up drowning, and they end up getting saved, but they think they're on their way out. So they have that kind of like the Seinfeld moment where they're confessing to all the shit that they fucked each other over on. Yeah. And I guess when they were filming that, Danny DeVito, because he's such a short, fat little dude, he's too buoyant. So when they'd fill it up with water, he was just floating up to the top. And so they had to weigh him down. And so they weighed him down, but to get the scene, they really did fill this fucking thing up with water, and then everyone swims up to the top at the end of it. But they weighed down Danny DeVito, and he's old, and he went to swim, and he couldn't get the fucking weights off.
Oh my god!
And they said they just saw just a look of actual fear, I'm gonna die, in Danny DeVito's eyes, and then they fucking got him out of there, and he didn't say shit to anyone. He just took everything off and fucking stormed off the set, and he was furious. He's like, yeah, we almost killed him this season, and he was not happy with it. But that's what that made me think of, is apparently he was just down there just giving signals of like, get me the fuck out of here.
I don't think anybody did that better than Strange Brew though, with Bob and Doug McKenzie. And they put him in to kill them. They dropped them in that giant vat of beer at the place. And so Rick Moranis' character basically just drank all the beer that was in it. And so they open it up, and he's like this big giant thing. He's like, oh, I really got a PA. He just drank it all. And he's like, he looks like that girl from Willy Wonka.
The
big blueberries.
Big
he's
blueberry,
like,
I almost feel like
I really got a PA.
I almost feel like that's what they were gonna do with Beer Fest, and then they saw that movie and they were like, "Fuck! All right, we'll just kill him and bring him back as a twin brother."
I like Beer Fest.
I love Beer Fest; it's great. But I almost feel like they saw that and they were like, "Shit! Someone already did that." All right,
have you watched this?
Bring him back as a twin brother.
Y'all watch Super Troopers 2?
No, I want to. Is it good?
You should watch it. It's actually it's funny, and it plays on the Canadian stuff because I'll give you a quick premise. Is like they through somehow, I don't know what it is, but America buys, like from Vermont, they like buy part of Canada and extend it out. And so the Vermont police, which is the Super Troopers group, are now going to start, their jurisdiction's going to start being in Canada too. And so they start working on replacing these the Canadian mounted police. And of course they don't like being replaced. So it's kind of a big feud between the two different groups, but there's so many fucking funny Canadian jokes in it and stuff, and they make fun of how they talk with it all the time, and it's actually really good. I mean, it's nowhere near as good.
I wish they would do Podfest. They teased it at the end of Beer Fest, and then it just never happened.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like one of those. Remember, like at the end of History of the World Part 1, they show a whole trailer for History of the World Part 2, and we just got it like this year.
Well,
that happened in like 81.
Yeah, but they need to fucking make Potfest before Willie Nelson dies.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they may have already got his cameos filmed. He's not going to die, though. He's a pothead. Like, he'll live to be older than Gramp there.
I mean, he's already 100, so.
Pop's like a world traveler.
Get me the fuck out of here.
It's so weird to talk, and then you just see his phone float across the screen. It's like one of those janky technical difficulty sign. We'll be right back.
SOS.
Yeah. It's like the guy who's banging on the inside of that submarine before they all died. There's a topical thing for you.
I turned on the flashlight on it. Like I couldn't fucking see it.
Can you see this fucking lighthouse?
Jesus Christ, Nick. I'm trying to podcast here. Turn that shit off.
Can't see.
Wait, hold on. That's what the
see.
last episode we just kept going. Made me think of. Do
Yeah.
you remember
Goddamn.
we were
It's
we were
bad
sitting
enough
there-
trying to do this over your snoring.
Do you remember we were sitting there one time at dinner, and I had a friend. Well, I had a bunch of friends over, but one of them was stupid. We started talking about us.
All your friends were stupid.
Well, extra stupid. Started talking about us going to a fucking party or some shit we weren't supposed to be at, and we started fucking kicking him and shit. And in the middle of it, he's like, "Stop fucking kicking me! Shut up!"
Oh, I just had to put used pork skin back in my mouth.
All right, wrap it up.
All right, well,
You say
if
you
we
put
haven't been
foreskin in your mouth?
what?
Did you just say you put foreskin in your mouth?
Something like that.
Clipping that.
No, it's pork rinds, pork skin.
Oh.
No,
Yeah.
I'm cutting that out. We're sticking with foreskin.
I went to. Do you know? Did I tell this story about all the Asians running the country cooking stuff in Georgia?
Fucking face.
And I went into one,
All right, wrap it up. Did I tell this
and I
story?
know,
God
and
damn
I
it.
knew, and I knew what it was, but I had to ask the guy. I was like, "What is that?" The guy goes, "That fatback." And I kept making it say it because it was so funny to hear that dude go, "That fatback."
Wait, hold
I can't believe-
on, Ryan. Hold
What?
on. He just had the exact same face as when we were getting Isaac to fuck up the game on purpose at your wedding.
God damn it! We told you about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! You left and we told him like,
The
Look,
worse
whatever
you
you
play,
do-
the better this will be.
yeah, whatever you do. Our whole goal here is to piss Nick off. Win, lose, whatever, just piss him off. You play that whole. He'd play
Why the
whatever,
fuck
and
would
you'd
you
go,
do
"God damn it!"
And he was trying. He was trying so hard for some of those hands. Why the fuck would you do that? I wouldn't have played it.
Why?
God damn, we
You're
have
so
people
mad.
don't know what to do.
Explain the rules to you before we played, right? He's like, yeah. He felt so weird because he was wearing his ear, telling him fuck up on purpose. You're trying to explain to him how to play it straight. He doesn't know who to follow.
And then every time a game ended, he was just getting berated with the rules.
Now listen, yeah, because you
Do you not understand how this is played?
Let me mansplain this to you. If you lay down this and he lays down, he's just like, I was told just to piss you off. Oh shit! Good times. That was a good times. That was probably aside from getting married that day, it was probably the highlight of the day.
I was gonna say that was a highlight of that weekend. That was well.
good.
Hold on. That was a highlight of that weekend, along with the fight that later ensued while we were singing Van Halen, and then your wife's sister came up all pissy because we were keeping her fucking kid up.
Yeah, that was terrible. Did I tell you
The whole issue.
Can I tell you something funny I said to her at the funeral, and then I'll wrap it up? So earlier this year in January, their grandmother passed away, and they were in Massachusetts. Like we weren't that far from Boston or whatever.
It's a good time for a joke.
We're at the funeral, and it's so her sister. I don't know if you noticed, she's a little bit of a lush too, but she's like,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, same. Yeah, but she's like, it has to be high end and all that shit too. Like she's snooty, but she's, drinks. And we're at the funeral in the church, and it's like super Catholic, right? I mean, everything is like full on Catholic. And they do the part where they this is the body of Christ and blah, 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 blah. And if you're not Catholic, you're not supposed to go up there, right? So then they do the blood of Christ, and then they go, they come up with the wine and they pour the wine in the things and they go, "This is the blood of Christ," and blah blah blah. And she didn't go up there. And I swear to you, out loud, I looked there, I go, "Huh, never knew you to turn down any wine before." And everybody in my row snickered because they know she's a bit of an alcoholic, but they just all fucking kind of, they were trying not to laugh hard. And I was like, "Huh, never knew you to turn down wine before." In the middle of a fucking grandmother's funeral. And luckily, it was just funny enough that nobody actually pissed at me about it. Like, her mom was kind of like, "I can't believe you said that." And I was like, sort of.
Can't believe I'm the only one that thought of it.
Yeah. Can't believe Pops here didn't say that.
I can't believe she didn't go up there and get the wine. So I guess we're even.
Still worried. But yeah, she was holy
Maybe
shit.
it's because she didn't like the vintage.
Yeah. I don't know what her problem with the wedding was. Actually, I've run into her. I've been around her a couple times since. Yeah, it's time of month.
I was just gonna say she's a bitch.
No, I mean, she's actually been. It's like at the funeral trip that whole weekend or 4 days or whatever it was. She was actually fun to be around and all that kind of stuff.
No,
so I don't know what.
That's good.
I don't know what the fuck it was. I feel bad about the wedding stuff because like that. From what I can tell, it's not actually her. Like, it's weird that I used to take that girl with 2 front missing teeth to go to the mall to buy fucking Beanie Babies in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Like that's how long I've known her and everything. But like the wedding thing, it was just fucking.
I mean, look, I don't know her, so like
I know.
I don't
No.
She'd
probably be the first to joke saying like I was a fucking bitch. I was on my fucking period.
Yeah,
blah blah blah. She'd probably have a few drinks and joke about herself.
Of all the people, maybe just don't be shitty to the only 2 people we're here to celebrate.
Yeah,
seems like
I agree.
A good start.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of a mess, but she's all right. But anyway, I'm sorry. It's like your dad's like too tired to even lift his fucking phone now. You ever notice like he looks tired or he looks stoned and you can't tell the difference? Like if he had something, I wouldn't know the difference.
No, I'm not,
right.
But I kind of wish I was.
All right, well, if we have not been kicked off YouTube yet for cussing in the first 15 minutes or whatever arbitrary law we have broken in this episode, make sure that you hit the like, hit the subscribe, enable a notification so that every time we post, you'll be able to see the new shit we put out. Other than that,
leave a comment.
What do you got?
Leave a comment, leave a review, follow us on Instagram at guyslikeus_pod. Go like our Facebook page and follow us there so you can see the clips and stuff that we release. As Ryan said, we are on YouTube at the Guys Like Us show. And we are going to be up on Stage Dive, which is launching very soon. So be on the lookout for that. If you are a band or a podcast, please reach out to us and jump on Stage Dive.
Always looking for our replacement.
Please remember, be kind and rewind. And don't step on down power lines.
That's right.
Hey, I don't know. If that might be trademarked. I don't know if we can say that.
Be kind, rewind. It's a movie.
No, I know, but there's a guy with like a really big channel that's Be Kind, Rewind.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see you in court. Be kind, rewind.
When I get a cease and desist order, I'm going to wipe my ass with it and mail it back to him.
I'm going to know we've like made it somewhere. Controversy creates cash. Just remember that.
That's right.
I always want to do the thing in Always Sunny. They have a contract, and every time it starts to go wrong, Mac just eats the contract. He just takes the paper and just eats it.
Well, I'll just wipe my ass with it. I got this low carb thing going on, so I don't want to eat it.
All right. We all good?
Right. I thought we were out a while back. This is like after the show, right?
Nope.
All right.
Wrap it up.
Here's the light.
Well, he already said don't step on down power lines. Like,
right.
There's nothing after that.
And we're out.
All right, later.
Late.
All right, you guys out?
This has been a Sayge Media production.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.